Wargamers. Sorry about the narration for this one, but welcome to another Marvel Crisis Protocol battle report from Aegis Brand Studios. We had some audio issues, so unfortunately had to do some voiceover work, otherwise the whole video would be scrapped. So hope you enjoy. So first off, we have Avengers versus Defenders. Jason has come in with a Sam Spam list. He's got Sam, Beta Ray Bill, Luke Cage, Spider-Woman, and Iron Man. Not going the traditional wide, but definitely bringing some good stuff here, running Senators, and it is Infinity Formula, so we can definitely grab a couple more of those objectives. Avengers Assemble, Brace for Impact, Hatch Up, Helios Laser Bombardment, and Heroes for Hire are his cards. In response, I got Defenders, and there was a math issue here. One threat over, unfortunately. We got Doctor Strange with No Stone, ASM, Incredible Hulk, and a Bullseye. Once again, unfortunately, my math was wrong. For some reason, I treated Strange as a 4 threat instead of a 5. Caused some problems on that one, but still a good game. We have a Trip Up, Patch Up, Sacrifice, Smash, and can't remember what the last one was. Anyway, moving right into it, we have our battle lines all set up. We had that, like I said, we got the Senators and the Infinity Formula, so there were 10 points on the board to begin with, which quite a hefty amount there, but making for an interesting game, especially with me going as tall as I am. So starting the game off, Jason did have priority, so he starts off with Luke Cage, just moving him up, just going to grab the Infinity Formula. And we'll notice that a very recurring theme of this game is a lot of just really quick, snappy turns to get stuff done here, because of the Senators mostly. So in response, I look around a little bit and figure it's probably best to go with someone who can snag a couple things a little bit early on. So we end up going with ASM to jump over here to grab that formula and just kind of hold on to it. Thought about going for Senator as well. Probably should have in the grand scheme of things, but didn't. So Iron Man up next, moving up to the formula and putting him within range 4 of ASM as well. So Jason takes advantage of this and throws a repulsor blast into me. Happens to get the hit on there, and then just tries to do a little bit of damage. Not quite getting in there, but still. It's enough to start interacting a bit with some stuff here. So, moving back to the other side of the board, we got Strange getting ready to go. He goes up to go hopefully grab a Senator, but first try to do a Bolts of Bedevilment into Iron Man here, grabbing the 5 dice, choosing the energy, spending the power to add on the Defender's leadership to it all, trying to get that hex off on top of everything and choose the type. So we throw the dice. Not too bad of a result there. Got the crit with Jason blocking a good chunk of it, like blocking 1 damage plus reduction. At this point, I got 6 dice. I get a little greedy here and try to convert my 3 successes into maybe getting to 4 successes here. In reality, I probably shouldn't have. So we pick it up. We do the Eye of Agamotto, and we end up just completely bombing. At this point, getting nothing, not even getting the push. Definitely my greed got the better of me on this particular one, unfortunately. But that happens. Next up, we go back to the Avengers with Beta Ray Bill moving up, and he's not really doing a whole lot. He's basically just getting up to go grab the Senator. So once again, everyone is just kind of like staging a little bit, and not really playing too aggressively at the moment. So we got Bullseye, and he ends up just doing a quick move to go grab a Senator and get behind some terrain here, make it a little bit harder for things, and just get into a better position to try and combat the Avengers going forward. So finishing off his activation right there. Back to the Avengers, we have Spider-Woman activating with her just massively long movement that always catches me off guard. And she's just running up to go grab this Senator over here. So Jason's really just fighting for an early point lead in this particular game. And we usually can serve him well depending on how the attrition goes. Last up, we got Hulk. And in his case, all I'm doing with him is just going to do a move to get him right up into the building here, and then we're just going to get him on the building actually. And then, because I don't want Beta Ray to be able to throw this terrain around, we're basically going to take a look at the Roxxon station and decide to basically hurl it at Beta Ray Bill here, because I don't want that terrain coming back at me. Even though Bill can just turn around and toss a whole bunch of Hulk at me, but just getting rid of it. It also means that's no line of sight blocking and no cover and all that sort of stuff. So it seems like a great idea. So hurl it at Beta Ray, who proceeds to block 2 of it, take 3 points of damage, and then reduce by 1 for 2 damage total going into him, and leaving me enough power left over to grab that Senator. So last activation of the round, we have Sam coming up here, and he comes up, knocks over some terrain in the process. He comes up, gets within 1 of the Senator, and grabs that one, and then proceeds to throw a shield into the fray here. I can't remember if he's targeting Spidey or Strange first, but either way, just an absolutely great roll here with 3 successes right off the hop, throwing in a 4th one from the crits, and just nothing on my... Okay, so this is Spidey, and just nothing in response. So Spidey ends up taking 4 damage, and more importantly, he ends up getting pushed by the shield as well, knocking him off the Infinity Formula, which is definitely no good for me on this particular case. And then, of course, the Ricochet goes on there. I believe this is going on to, I can't remember if it's Strange or Bullseye. But either way, throwing a little bit more damage on there. And ASM just gets yeeted back there, which is just kind of a pain to deal with. But very strong way to end the round for the Avengers here. So at the end of the round, they actually get quite a substantial lead. They got 2 of the Infinity Formulas, 3 of the Senators, giving them a total of 5 points. I only got 2 Senators, giving me a total of 2. So putting me right on the back foot, but it does give me priority back as we go into round 2. And so moving into round 2, start off the round with Spidey, and we just do a web swing forward here, try to make use of some of that power that we've gained, because he now has 6 power kicking around since he didn't interact with anything. And we just do an initial Spider Strike with the extra 2 dice. I believe we're going into to Sam at this point, just to make things a little bit easier here. So throwing 7 dice into him, and just kind of see what we're going to do here. And Spidey ends up rolling a bit like a fiend on this one with a whole bunch of successes. So it just does a whole bunch of damage. And Sam just getting nothing in response. Sam also spending the 2 power for some extra defense dice. And that is enough to actually daze Sam. Now, this is also one of those rare instances where I get the momentum, and Jason decides to ruin all my fun and use Sam's leadership to just get Iron Man out of range of it, so I can't attack him and I can't momentum him, which ends up being a big deal. Very unfortunate, but I mean, very smart play on Jason's part as well. I can't really fault him for that one, even though I chirped at him a little bit for that. So instead, we just grab the Senator and we end up moving back behind the size 3 terrain there, and sit on the Infinity Formula just to start scoring some points, because I am very much behind at this particular junction in the game, and I don't want to leave Spidey out in the open simply because he has only 2 health remaining. So in response, we have Jason going back over there, and I believe the play is Beta Ray Bill at this point. I can't quite recall what he decides to do just yet. So, as we see it all play out. But I believe the play is actually Beta Ray Bill basically just picking up Hulk and tossing him. Yeah, picking up Hulk, tossing him into Bullseye. Just, big 5 damage into Bullseye, who then just proceeds to just eat it. Like, just takes a bunch of damage, knocking him right out. He drops the Senator. and this is why the threat discrepancy isn't too big of a deal, because Bullseye just gets beaten up and beaten around in this particular game. He really didn't even make an impact at all. He scored 1 point before getting dazed, and then Bill himself just starts going over here to support this particular flank as well. Now, of course, he has the Senator, so he can only move once. But again, like just very reserved movements going on with this game. Moving back to the defender side, we have Strange activating. He's just going to move up enough so he can get within range of that center and get within range of Iron Man here and throw a bolts of bedevilment. I do believe once again I'm attempting to throw the hex on there, just to kind of shut him down a little bit. And decent enough roll. Once again, 6 dice with 4 results into no saves. So with damage reduction, going to be taking 3. Get the hex off. Also get the advance Iron Man away, knocking him off that point. Which of course doesn't really matter a whole lot because he'll just walk back onto it during his turn. But still, much more effective turn by Strange. And then we just grab the Senator because once again, got to start scoring those points. Gotta stay in the game on that front. So for the Avengers, we go over to Spider-Woman, who, I have this very nice undefended point back here. So she just walks over and basically just holds that point. Doesn't really do much else. Again, Jason's just playing the KG game here. So all I got left is Hulk, and I gotta figure out what's going on here. So I think at this point, if I recall, I think I actually pass. Yeah, I do pass, and we move over to Luke Cage, who's just gonna run up and go grab that Senator, I believe it is. And this ends up being a very fruitful tactic for Jason because it puts me on the back foot, and it takes me a round or so to really recover from it. So he just checking some distances here, seeing what he can and can't do, and where's kind of safe place to be on everything. And I think he actually decides on Luke just kind of standing still here, basically just passing the turn, which does bring us back to Hulk, and basically just going over here to try and deal with this situation that is arising over with Spider-Woman. So finding out that his base is actually too wide to fit into that space right there. There's no space on the terrain itself for me to get to. So what we basically do is we take this building, and we're just gonna take the construction building and get rid of it here. Make it so Spider-Woman doesn't have access to it, and make it so Bill doesn't have access to. I believe that's the game plan here anyway. I'm trying to remember. Whole lot was going on here, and I know there was a lot of back and forth. Yeah, so what we do is we're just tossing the building and into Spider-Woman here. And away it goes. And so that's 5 damage into Spider-Woman, which I'm always hoping that it's going to do a whole lot, knock her right off the objective, which would be wonderful. I mean, it's not going to happen, not with her stamina anyway. So I think he actually just braced at that point. So Iron Man moves back up once again, gets within range of a whole bunch of things, and I believe the idea is to just homing rockets into Spidey to try and get some work done on this front. And because there's only two damage remaining on Spidey, and getting him dazed this early would be a bit of a boon for the Avengers. So decent roll, 2 successes so far, but no explosion. And I do pay to get some extra dice from Strange on this one, and get the reroll, but it's not really necessary. Just get to block it all between the 4 dice plus the extra 2 there. Just Spidey finally got a little bit of luck on that one. And that brings us to Beta Ray. Oh no, that brings us to the end of the round. So Jason's scoring 3, and I think he has 1 cube, 2 cube. No, he has 2 cubes. So he's scoring 5 points. At this point, I'm also scoring, I believe it's like 2 cubes in a bit. So I catch up a little bit. Moving into round 3, going to start off with ASM again because he's got a whole bunch of power to do a whole bunch of things here. And we just move on up. I see an opportunity basically to take out Sam Wilson here and get rid of the leadership for the Avengers, which, I mean, with Sam Spam is always a good thing if you can get rid of it safely. In retrospect, I don't know if Sam was the better call or Iron Man was the better call here. We'll see going forward. But doing a spider strike into Sam and just getting an absolute banger of a roll here. And Sam once again not really getting the defense that he needs. I think this was it Spider Strike? This might have actually been whatever Spider can. No, it was Spider Strike. Yeah, just checking to see if he's outside of the momentum range. But just does a number on Sam here, which, I mean, very good for me. And just figuring out what to do with the final action here. And I believe I opt to once again do another. I think at this point I do whatever a spider can. Yeah, I think I spend power, do whatever a spider can, and just obliterate Sam off the table at this point. He's not really got much going else on him, and that knocks him right out of the game basically. So getting rid of Sam at the top of round 3 gives me a nice little leg up, in my opinion. But once again, whether or not it was better going into Sam or Iron Man, really hard to say. So, and looking at that there, I should not have done that. I just made too many actions. Huh. Oh, no. Whatever Spider-Can has that medium advance. That's all down. Okay, we're fine. So Iron Man, in response, because he's taking a bunch of damage, he needs to do something here. He is going to respond with something. I'm trying to remember what it is here. Can't remember if this is a Friday AI with a repulsor blast or if it's something else going on here. The joys of having to do this after the fact when everything's been done. So we got Friday AI. Let's see, that's 7 days. So it looks like homing rockets actually. Oh, I think I remember what this is. Yeah, he's going into Bullseye and just absolutely dummies him. So, like I said, Bullseye had absolutely no impact on this game besides scoring 1 point and taking a throw and an attack. Like, just got dummied. And then Iron Man looking at ranges and seeing he's within range of Strange there with the range 4 and just out of range of Spidey. So just kind of weighing his options with what he would like to do here, and opts to punch Strange a little bit, I believe here. Yeah, just getting the repulsor blast and just getting a little bit of successes. Not a whole lot going on there, but gets the wild, and I believe it's enough to. I believe he got the wild anyway. Yeah, just looking to see it push Strange back, and this was something that happened a few times. Made it very difficult to kind of keep into position here. So Strange just going back and dinking into Spidey there. That brings us to Hulk, who at this point is going to Gamma Leap forward, moving that thing a little bit. And at this point, we also opt to do a smash. So we pick up that car. We add 3 dice to our attacks here, and we just lay into Spider-Woman hard with the attack. Basically, just looking to control this side of the board a little bit. So he's taking enough damage to add 1, and he's adding 3 more. So I believe this is an 11 dice attack going into Spider-Woman, and just a banger of an attack. You know, we got the crits in there. We got a lot of successes, and just convert a whole bunch. And Spider-Woman just can't take it. Just so much damage going into her. She basically just crumples at this. Of course, it leaves Hulk in a position where he can't really do a whole lot else because he doesn't have any other. He has an action. He could do a move, but he can't get another attack in there or anything like that. I suppose he could have walked over and thrown either Beta Ray or Luke Cage or something like that. But just it would put him a little bit out of position. Maybe I should have been a little bit more aggressive. So in response, at this point, Luke Cage, feeling a little safer, wanders over here to grab the Senator. And I believe that is pretty much it for Luke Cage. Not a whole lot going on there. I don't think he's within range 3 of Hulk there. But he did get some power. Oh, maybe he is in this case. So I think he's throwing a Sweet Christmas into me. I guess he is. Doesn't get a whole lot of successes there, just 4. It doesn't get the, and Hulk just blocks 2 of it, and takes some damage. Nothing too bad there for Hulk. He can deal with it. He's got a big health pool there, and it allows him to kind of like dictate how the flow of that particular side of the board is going. So back over to Mr. Strange here, and we're basically trying to deal with Tony, who's already taken 3 damage, seeing if I can't get him off the point for now, and really shut down his scoring ability here. So we basically just throw another Bolts of Bedevilment into him. I can't remember if I pay to change the type or not. It doesn't really matter. He's already hexed, so get some decent successes. We got one. Can't remember if we called that cocked. Yeah, we called that one cocked. So still gets a doesn't get the success on that one on the defense, unfortunately. And we get enough. I get a little greedy, and we decide to try this again. And we do actually convert into quite a successful attack, which does daze Mr. Stark at this point. But because he's dazed, I don't get to walk him around a little bit. So then we just kind of walk up, and we sit on that point, setting up a really, really nice scoring opportunity for the defenders this particular round. Because we're now sitting on 3 of the Infinity Formulas, and I think we have 2 of the Senators. And then Beta Ray just walking over here, basically just taking this point and checking range on there. He does have range for his Stormcaller, I think it is. Whatever the big range one is, the Summon the Storm, I think is what it's called. So he just figures anything is better than nothing, and he just decides to throw some dice my way, and gets a fairly decent roll here with 5 successes, and just blocking everything with Hulk there, and not bothering taking the reroll, not spending the 4 power, just taking the 2 damage for it, and getting slowed. Not that it really matters on Hulk there. But that basically brings us to the end of the round. So at this point, Jason's only got 1 Infinity Formula and 2 Senators, scoring 3. I'm scoring, I think it's like 5 points at this point, or maybe it was even 6, which definitely is putting me back in the game, which is a very important thing. I need to get that momentum. Definitely getting back up there, letting me actually compete a little bit more, not rely so much on attrition as we go forward. Moving into round 4, still got that priority. So Hulk goes on up. At this point, I gotta be a little bit more. I stay on the that objective there, get within range of Beta Ray. At this point, Jason is within striking distance of winning the game. I think he's at like 13 points, I think. So I got to try and do as much as I possibly can here. So we get in there and we start just attacking Beta Ray because he's got a Senator, he's got an Infinity Formula point. So we just get an absolutely great attack here, like just so much damage coming in. But of course, Beta Ray blocks 3 of it plus the damage reduction. It means I don't believe it's enough to take Beta Ray down in this case. I think he's left on like 1 damage remaining, and that's where things get a little bit tricky. And unfortunately, I didn't get my throw trigger on that one because I think I was throwing like the big attack, because there is also the shock on him as well. So unfortunately, I'm rolling 1 less die in addition to the extra dice that I'm getting. I did get, and then of course we do throw him into Luke Cage there, trying to cause a little bit more. And I think at this point, Luke Cage Luke Cage does a fairly successful dodge here. Blocks 2 of it, reduces by 1. So doesn't really take anything, which is no bueno for Hulk at this point. So Jason's weighing his options, figuring out what he wants to do here. Or I think I'm actually weighing my options because I still have a little bit more I can do. I think I go into Beta Ray again at this point. Yeah, I think I'm going to Beta Ray again and just don't quite get the roll that I was hoping for. But it does end up being enough to daze him and knock out the senator that he is holding. Oh no, that was in the Luke Cage. My apologies. Don't know why I was trying to go into Luke Cage there. I think it was because I honestly don't know. So moving back over here, Iron Man goes, and at this point he decides to pull out the Helios laser, and he starts collecting a whole bunch of dice because the idea here is removing activations from me. And Strange is in a position where he can get quite a bit done depending on how he goes. Iron Man is not in a great position. Strange could probably take him out if given the opportunity to do so. And the fewer activations I have, unfortunately, the more susceptible I am to his just massive points lead. Because basically, he can do whatever he needs at this point. I need to score, I think, like 5 points. He needs to score 3 points, and it's basically he's just trying to keep me from being able to score any of those points. So he ends up doing, I think it's a 17 dice Helios laser in this case, and just gets a whopping buttload of successes here, even with Strange adding 2 defense dice. It just there's not enough. I think he ends up overkilling Strange by about like 3 or 4 damage, and Strange just gets knocked out. Gets onto his day's side here, drops his senator. just for giggles, I see if I can actually do something with the Eye of Agamotto there. If I'd had a couple more crits, I might have been able to survive it, but that's what happens. It is a dice game. So Iron Man just has a very very successful first activation there, and then just check some range to see if he can actually get ASM there, and instead decides to just kind of move back, just to make it a little bit more difficult. At this point, I pretty much have one last ditch effort here. Spidey gets up within three of Luke Cage, and basically for him to do anything, he needs to get a great attack. He needs to get his momentum off, and he needs to be able to like down 3 people in one go. And he's got some dice to do it, so we do basically the Spider Strike into him, I believe it is, or is this? Yeah. So we do our Spider Strike into him, get some decent results. We get the momentum trigger off once again as well, which is a big deal. So he's actually able to get up there and momentum into Bill, and also be placed within. Like at this point, there's not really much he can do otherwise. But momentum's into Bill, and at this point, Bill finally succumbs to it. He takes enough damage that he gets dazed, and he drops that senator that he's been holding this whole time. So I mean, Spidey's putting in a good effort here. So away that goes. And at this point, there's only one option he has left. He can either do a Spider Strike into Spider Woman or Luke Cage, or he can do a whatever Spider Cannon to Cage. The big problem here is he has Heroes for Hire kicking around, which means if I decide to go into do the Spider Strike into Spider Woman here, even if I trigger momentum, he's just gonna take it with Luke Cage instead. Meaning that I'm not going to be able to get rid of Spider Woman, who's just going to be able to score enough points that she basically needs to do what she needs to do and get those points. Because Iron Man, unfortunately, is sitting on 2 points. So basically, on this side of the board, he really just needs 1 point. So I needed to really get in there and take out basically everyone. So I decided to just do a whatever Spider Cannon to Luke Cage, and we do end up dealing with him, forcing him to drop his stuff. And it's a feel good for Spidey there. Like it's one of those things where I don't have a lot of success with him, but I feel like I normally do. But I guess I don't quite drop Luke Cage on this. Oh no, I think we moved over to Luke Cage and he activated and he decided to punch some. I can't remember at this point. I wasn't quite able to get Luke, so he activates Luke. He walks over. He punches Spidey for giggles here. Doesn't really do much of anything here, but the point is, it's just kind of wrapping up and giving those last little black eyes, and then Spider Woman activates. She grabs the senator. She's sitting on the point, and ends up just getting so many points on this point. He ends up scoring 2 from Iron Man and 2 from Luke Cage and 2 from Spider Woman. So he ends the game. I think it was like at 19, 18 or 19, because I think they both have senators, and just does a little spite punch against Hulk here. I think it is. Get some good damage in there, but oh, it's against Spidey, so he does the reroll. But not much more to be really said on that one. So end of the game, unfortunately, had a nice little comeback, but it wasn't quite enough there. Strange going down to the Helios laser definitely hurt. Final score, I think I scored 2 points, I want to say, on this one, to his final 6. So it was like 19-15, I believe, is what the final score was. All in all, good game. It was a shame I got the math wrong on that one. Shame the audio went down because there was some good banter going on. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So if you like the video, hit up patreon.com/HSbrandstudios, and thank you so much.